Guys, in this video, I'm gonna give you a framework, 13 steps that will guarantee you can sell 3 to 4 times the amount that you currently are. Take notes, be intentional. This training will change your life, guaranteed. Guys, what's your posture look like today? Are you leaning forward? Are your eyes looking alive? Are you believing that this life is worth it for you, that you can get everything you want and you're in sales? Today's all about sales. Today's all about mastery. And guys, I'm going to guarantee you something going into this call. At the end of this call, you're going to have some new thoughts. You're going to have some new ways of thinking, and you're going to have some new ways of approaching prospects. Guys, in sales, it's all about adapting. It's all about getting some new language. It's all about getting some new thoughts. So today, before we even start, I want to tell you, man, it doesn't matter where you're at. It matters if you have the ability to change. Does everybody have the ability to see the good today? Does everybody have the ability to see the growth today? Okay, here's why I'm dangerous, and here's why you should be dangerous too. Because if you hear something and act on something, immediately, that's how you win. That's how you change. That's how you grow. That's how you get more. That's how you stay ahead, okay? So today, it's going to be about sales mastery. It's going to be about moving the prospects. It's going to be about serving them higher. But I want you to make a decision today. I want you to make a real decision today. If you approach things as an amateur, with amateur energy, with an amateur mindset, with like thinking about all the things that are maybe not right or not good in life, does life typically work for you, or does it typically work against you? That's what I was thinking this morning on the way to work. I'm like, dude, I think that I win because I used to think just negatively every morning. I used to just like convince myself that everything was wrong and all of these different things. And then I got in this sales career and I saw everything was possible. And then I started coaching myself. I started talking to myself. I started believing in myself. I started saying, you know what, man, this is my opportunity. It's not going to another store. It's not going to another place. It's like literally, dude, I am going to be the best today. I personally am not really good at talking to people that aren't committed because I can see it in their eyes and I just want to like punch them in the face. I'll just be honest with you because I have such a deep why. I have such a deep, like just a fire in me that wants to be great. I feel like everybody wants to be great, right? But the reality is a lot of people have not made the decision to go to the next level. A lot of people have not made the decision to believe in them. A lot of people, they're just believing that it can't happen for them. So today in sales, you have to know something. You got to know everything is possible for you. I want you to say it right now. Say, everything's possible for me. Everything's possible for me. Turn to your people, mirrors, everybody, and say, everything's possible for me. Turn to your neighbor. If you don't got one, turn to your multiple personality and say, hey, multiple personality, everything's for me, bro. Hey, and if that multiple personality is negative, say this. Hey, say, you ain't winning today. You ain't winning today. Today, I know this world is for me. I know this sales is for me. I know that I am here in this company, in this time, to be great, to win, to be happy, to smile, to be excited. And that's sales. If we turn the Zoom off right now and you carry this fire, this perspective into the world, I'm telling you, man, it's so easy to be great because your prospects aren't going to see this, okay? Guys, this training that you're experiencing, this happens every day in Elliott Training Academy. We got sales role play calls, live audits where you can submit your sales calls. You can submit your social media. We'll go through it. We'll critique it. We'll show you exactly how to win and create more leads. We'll teach you all the word tracks that you need to know to advance your career in life. There's nothing else in sales that you need to learn that Elliott Training Academy doesn't offer. So if you're a person that's coachable, that wants to go to the next level, that wants the edge in the market and wants to dominate, not compete, but flat out be the best, we have the accountability and all of the resources that you need to hit that next gear, hit that next level, and become the best in your field. The link is in the description. It's Elliott Training Academy. I can't wait to see you on the next call. Let's go. So I'm going to talk about the psychology of sales. I've got 13 tips that you can write down for any industry in anything you do. And by the way, guys, this is how we treat learning here. You might hear something that's not maybe necessarily in your industry or whatever, but man, I led the nation in sales for a long time in automotive sales. There's probably a few people that ever sold more cars than me, and maybe in the history of automotive. But what I did was I studied a lot of just sales and mindset so I could keep the edge. Have you guys ever had that edge where you're just like winning, your momentum's high, you're growing, you're feeling invincible, or have you ever seen anybody like that? And then you're like, dude, that guy makes it easy. Here's what I want to tell you. That guy just went on a journey. He just decided, he had to believe, and then he had to have a good relationship with failure. Okay. Let's talk about that real quick. If you have a good relationship with failure and you're striking out and you're like, hey, next time I'm going to get him. Hey, it's all good, man. Hey, that's part of the game. Okay. It's part of the game to fail. It's part of the game to lose. The person that can fail the most and get up the fastest, that person wins. All right. So the guy today that may lose a prospect or may not want to get on the phone or may not want to do the thing, he is not going to experience sales and the sales life at a huge level, because ultimately I might have sold a lot of cars, and ultimately I've sold a lot of things, but ultimately I've probably failed more than 90% of you combined. But my relationship with it as I was failing is like, this is part of it, right? Like, you're never going to see an athlete lose and just be like, oh, we should win every game. You don't win every game, man. You win. You can win a lot of games, but the guys that can like literally just tune in, lock in, they're not clocking in, they're locking in. They're like, this is my chance. I know it, man. I just got to believe it. So I want you to take your mindset and I want you to just today believe everything is possible. I want you to use the lens of like, man, no matter what happens today, even if I get my ass kicked, I'm still going to have a good perspective. Nobody's going to come in the way of this. Guys, what can we control? Ourselves. Okay. So I'm going to go through 13 ways to influence your prospects, to influence yourself. You can use this all around. Okay. So number one, I want you to forget the pitch. You know, you gotta let customers know that you're there for them, that you're really there to serve them, that you're really there to help them. The salesperson that can make the most friends makes the most money. The salesperson that pitches the most people, they're always broke because they're only caring about their intentions, not the prospects. The prospect can fill when your intentions are in the right place. Guys, think about it. Have you ever gone into a store and you just get that slimy salesman that's like, he's fast talking? Like, I'm talking fast right now. Some of you guys just listen slow, but I'm talking right now because this is training. But if I'm with the customer, man, my energy is not this high. It's just a little bit over theirs. You know, like it's not so crazy. It's unreachable. It's just like right a little bit over theirs, right? But have you ever gone into a situation to buy something and you feel the salesman is trying to push you and make you buy it and make you get it? And you're like, I don't like this. And then have you ever gone into a conversation where it's almost like you forget that you're with that person, right? Like you're like, oh man, like I'm telling this guy I shouldn't be telling them things. And oh my gosh, this guy's great. Okay. That's real sales, because real sales is based on building real relationships. So in your pitch, I want you to be real. I want it not to be a pitch. I want it to be a service. I want it to be love. I want it to be that as we go through this framework, you're really figuring out how to serve these people. You're really figuring out how to add value to them. You're really figuring out what they're here for. You know, you got to start with open-minded questions, and you can't rush into just pitching. It doesn't work that good, man. So number one, we got to forget the pitch. We're not pitching, guys. We're just here to serve. And if you're here to sell, you don't typically make that much money. If you're just here to make commission, you don't typically, it's funny. When you're after the money, you typically don't make that much money. Isn't it crazy? But when you're after building a relationship and a friend, that guy's always the richest. And that guy's always the happiest. And that guy's the guy that's the most not nervous. He's the most excited. And his customers end up sending him tons of business. Okay. So number one, forget the pitch. Number two, and this is going to sound crazy coming from me, but you got to drop the enthusiasm. You can't come in so high or so hot, because if you come in like I'm coming in right at this second and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to serve you. Like, just think of a networking situation. If you met somebody and they walked up to you and they're like, hey, I'm Ian, I sell cars. What you doing? How's it going today? They're going to be like, whoa, bro, you're selling me. Okay. But you got to come in real and really who you are, but you don't want to come in flat, like flat ass Coke. Who likes flat Coke other than Anson? Okay. Because he's weird. Okay. But most of you don't like anything flat. So you don't want to come in dead. Guys, have you ever gone to a restaurant and you meet the lady or the server and she's just like, oh, like she's just flat? Do you like that experience? Do you want to give her money? Do you want to tip her more? You probably don't, right? You're like, oh shit, man, she's getting the minimum. You decide in the first 30 seconds of meeting a prospect, really, if you're going to do business. You decide. So you got to have good emotion. So you got to be experiencing good emotion. Why do you think that the most salespeople, the most growth-minded salespeople are the guys that win the most? And why do you think that you can see people that are trapped in their own head? I can walk into any store and I can see who the winner is. You know why? Because the winner typically looks like he's having a great time. He typically looks like it doesn't matter. It's like the universe is working for him. The sales gods are working for him. And it's just like he's attracting success. A lot of people are chasing success when you could be attracting it by who you are, right? Like it's an actual real thing, you know, because if I get with a prospect and I'm feeling really good about me and I'm growing and I'm excited, I'm not pitching them, I'm just feeling great that they're here. They feel that love, guys. We got to make them feel that love. All right. Where do you go right now that you feel like you walk into a restaurant and you feel the love? And you're like, I want you to think, because you might have one. I go to this restaurant in Phoenix. It's like an hour away from my house. I pass every breakfast place almost in Scottsdale because they all suck. And I go to this one with this one lady. The food is not that good, but it's the only one my wife won't argue with. Okay? Because if my wife gets bad service, she's going to tell everybody. She's going to go get the cook. She's going to bring them out. She's going to make an example out of everybody. She's going to be like it's just, she's so super direct, right? So I go to this one because it's like they know her name. When she walks in, she's like, "Oh, Miss Miranda, got your seat. You're coming in right here." And I'm like, "Oh gosh, I got to eat these pancakes that ain't that good, man. Like I got to eat these eggs that like are always." Yeah, you guys ever get like over medium eggs and they're not over medium, they're over easy, like, and they're just like, you know, I don't like that shit. Okay, but every time I order my eggs there, I say over medium plus, like just make them over medium, then they're over hard, right? But it literally doesn't matter because their service is so good. New people, here's the number one rule you need to listen to. And vets, you need to go back to that. The person with the greatest attitude wins. Simplify everything. If you had no skill, but you got the best attitude in the room, you win. If your attitude is radiating positivity, if your attitude is radiating progression, if your attitude is just radiating love and peace and fun and excitement, guys, you win. So if I'm new, imagine this, managers, you guys could probably tell your salespeople if you're sitting with them, but I'll tell you as a guy that's been in the industry for 15 years, if you have a person that's the most talented, skilled salesperson, if you have that going on, and you have a guy that has the best attitude in the game, the attitude guy is going to beat the guy with the best skill. Like, because the guy with the best skill is probably going to count on his skill. He's probably going to rely on his skill a little bit. When the guy with the best attitude, the customers are naturally going to say yes. Now, if you got attitude and skill, you're the flat out most dangerous guy in the world. Okay. So think about that. I want you to use that in what you're doing. Now, if we go back to enthusiasm, here's the rule of energy. Don't match your customer's energy. Come up just a little bit higher than them. Just a little bit. Like not like crazy high, but like just a little bit above them. Okay? And if you can do that, then they're always going to graduate to your level of energy. Does that make sense? Is everybody tracking me? So we got energy, but not too much. We got positivity. We got that radiating positivity, delete those. And then we got number 3. Okay, write this down. We're going to avoid pressure. Okay, like customers, they don't want to feel pressure. They don't want to feel that pressure from you that you're like just cramming it down their throat. And here's how we're going to do it. Listen, we're going to encourage just a relaxed, full approach. And customers, this is when they feel the most relaxed. Imagine you feel the most relaxed. You feel the most relaxed when you're talking about yourself, right? So Frank, if you have a prospect today and you just go right into the sales process, you go right into the discovery, you go right into sitting them down, you go right into selling them, their guard is just always up. Their guard is like right through here, okay? But here's the deal. If you approach this prospect and you say, "Hey man, tell me a little bit about why you're looking for this car. Tell me a little bit about why you're looking for this product." And they say something, you can tell me a little bit about, "Hey, why does that fit in your life? Why is that what you're looking for? Why is this? Why is that?" And you get them to start talking about themselves. They start to feel like they're not being sold. And guys, isn't that how we want them to feel? Do we even want customers to feel ever pressured? No. We want these customers to feel like we truly care for them, because listen, if you actually really truly care for people, then that's the person that wins the most. The guy that's really just trying to make money, he never makes money. The guy that's trying to make the most sales, he never makes the most sales. So you have to think about that. You have to think about the pressure that you're putting on them. You have to think about all of that. Okay. So I want you to write that down. Avoid pressure. How do you avoid pressure? By answering questions. How do you avoid pressure? By making the customer experience fun. Here's how you avoid pressure too. Make it about them, not you. Step 4. Make it about them, not you. Okay. So a lot of times when people come in, like whatever industry you're in, you make it about you. Let me tell you about you. Let me tell you about us. Let me tell you about what we do. Let me tell you about how we do it. Let me tell you about Let me tell you about how long we've been in business. Now, a lot of that is important, guys. But listen, I want to make it about like, how long have you been thinking about this? How long have you and your wife? Tell me a little bit about you guys. Tell me a little bit about y'all's decision-making process. Tell me a little bit about what led you in to purchase this car, led you in to put this lead in on the phone. Tell me a little bit. I had a car detail guy last night, and I called him, and the call was horrible. And I just cold called him, right? And he's on this call, so he knows. And he never asked me, he didn't really ask me. He didn't have any enthusiasm. He sounded like he was sleeping. And he was like, well, where do you want to get your car detailed? Are you in our city? Are you around? I'm like, dude, that's not how you do it. You want to say, hey, man, what kind of car are you driving? Oh, my God, that's a great car. You're driving an Escalade. Why are you driving that? Like, what made you pick that car? Like, this doesn't have to do with the detail process. But like, imagine I'm like, well, dude, I really like that car and I bought it from over here. Oh, you're in that area? Dude, we do a lot of business in that area. What do you do for work? And they're like, well, I do this. Why'd you choose that? Guys, I want you to think about this. And managers can relate a lot, but if you're new, you're just going to have to take my word for it. If I put two new people together in a conversation, the new people, they will have a conversation that's not very interesting. It'll be like, what's the weather today? They'll be like, I don't know. It's like 70 degrees and sunny. And then the other guy will be like, all right. And then if you put two guys that are on fire, that are believing in themselves, that have been in sales for a little bit, that understand what I'm saying, the power of communication, all the things we're going over, they will have such an interesting conversation that you want to get into that conversation. Because they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm doing this. Oh man, why do you do that? What do you watch? And they're just chopping it up with them. Okay. And it's like those kind of salespeople that can make the prospect feel relaxed, that can make the process digress information that they didn't even know that they were saying. That's the prospects that makes the most money. Are you guys tracking me? You guys get what I'm saying? So today, make it about them. Make it about you. I want you to ask yourself this question. How can you ensure every prospect how can you ensure that you focus on the prospect's needs? How can today you focus on delivering on the needs of the prospect? How can you make sure of that? Well, when you go into this conversation, go in there with intentionally trying to get to know them. Okay. And that is the biggest missing factor right now in sales is most people don't care. So guys, if you want to be different than everybody else, if you want to make different money than everybody else in a market that doesn't care, in a market that's all average, in a market that's just me, I'm so confused. You're not confused. You're not confused. You're not confused. If your results are piss poor right now, it's an effort problem. It's a thinking problem. You're deciding to fail. You can decide to fail, right? You can decide to win. You can decide to have energy. You can decide to have a good mindset. You can decide to believe. You can decide to care for the customers. You can decide to show love. You can decide to be a good teammate. You can decide to be a good dad. You can decide to be a good mom. You can decide whatever you want. Guys, some of you guys need to realize that 100% of everything is in your control. 100% of everything. And some of you right now, you're just looking like the market to blame everything on something. Oh, the interest rates, this, that. While somebody else is taking that same situation and making 5 times the income. It's just a mentality. It's just a decision. And today, I want you to decide to play a bigger game. I want you to decide to get warm, to share your heart, to give some love. I don't know why it is so hard for salespeople nowadays to give people love, to give people affection and be like, dude, thank you for coming in. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to earn your business. Thank you, man. I'm excited right now. Let me calm down a little bit. Thank you. And then they're like, oh my God, this is great. I feel good. Have you guys ever been into somebody's house or business and you wanted to immediately leave because you felt no love? Yes or no? Have you ever been into a weird, awkward house and you're like, you walk in to do a party, a Christmas party, you're like, this place sucks. Okay. What's your customer experience like? What do you make people feel like around you? I don't care if your business doesn't operate this way. When people are around you, teammates, friends, family, everybody, when you walk in, you raise the temperature, man. You raise the temperature of the people around you. They should feel more powerful, more fun, more excited when you're around. 100% of everybody. If you really want to be a leader, what do leaders do? They influence people. It's not that, listen, if Anson works for me and I wanted to be a leader, okay? If Anson only works for me for a paycheck, I'm not a leader. If Anson works for me for a paycheck, I'm not a leader. If Anson works for me because he loves to work with me, because I believe in him, because I've helped him, because I'm taking him to a new level, that's the same thing with a prospect. If the prospect feels that kind of love, that kind of care, that kind of enthusiasm, they're like, dude, I'll do anything with this guy. Guys, I had people fighting for me. I literally have 3 referrals today in my phone for my dealership. I haven't been on a car lot in 5 years almost. Why? Dude, my brand sold 28 cars last month. Why? I live this way. And some of you think that this is a game or something. Like I'm just here talking about some shit. I don't like to talk about things that I'm not doing currently in my life. Okay? When I talked to you guys about not drinking anymore, I said, dude, 300 days ago, I'm going to go through a season of like, I know I need this new level, and I hated showing up and be like, hey, you can kill something. But then I felt like I had this thing in front of me, which was drinking, which was like some of these things. And I'm like, I'm knocking this dragon deep, and I'm going to publicly say it to everybody, right? And then I went through it, and I beat this sucker. I'm beating the crap out of this giant. Some of you got a giant in your life, and you're making that giant bigger. And it might just be getting out of your comfort zone. It might just be going and greeting people. It might just be giving people love. It might just be killing that you're shy. You're not shy. You're just playing small. You're just convincing yourself. You're just making a decision to be that person. You don't have to make that decision. Your body and mind, you're telling it what to do. You have to be in control of you. Only you can be in control of you. Okay? I didn't like the way I was feeling when I was showing up and telling you guys to do something. So I changed it. I don't want to be a fraud. I don't want to say something to people that I'm not doing. If I'm teaching it in sales training, you can rest assured that that's just me. It's just how I live. When I see things, I'm like, that's exactly what I was doing. That's why I did what I did. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So today, I want you to think about that. You know, are you making it about them? Are you making it about you? Are you avoiding the pressure? Listen, man, I might be a fired up, enthusiastic guy, but my customers felt no pressure. None. Why? Part of that is you got to learn how to handle objections. All right, Frank, if you're in the, I'm an automotive guy. If you're in automotive and I say, hey, man, I got to think about it. Okay. And you don't know how to handle that. You know, like we got Mears Mazda down here or Renee. Renee, come off mute. Renee's a car dealer. He's new to our game. Renee, come off mute. This is how we train. This is how we train our team. This is how you guys should be training each other. And tell me if this is pressure or tell me if it's not. And then you guys be the judge because I want to know. Maybe it's pressure and you guys need to coach me, okay? But I got like Mears Mazda over here, okay? I want you guys to think about this. And this is how you guys should be training each other. Hey, let me see how you communicate with the customer. Let me see how you do this. Because if you do it together, there's no way you can't win. Renee, come off mute real quick. Oh, they all of a sudden don't have no mic. They don't have you guys had a mic yesterday when I was talking to you guys. Huh? You guys a little nervous? Huh? Okay, bullshit. All right, anyways. All right, we'll go down to, all right, Mears Mazda, come off of mute. Come off of mute. Come off of mute. Don't be scared. Come on off of mute. Oh, wait. Oh, I have to ask you to come off mute. All right, let me go back to Renee. All right, let me go back to Renee. I'll put us up. Now I got it, guys. I was
Hey, from talking, my man.
It means to them, and it was really me. Man, isn't that a life thing right there? Like Alicia, you're like, come on, man. It's really you. All right, guys, good. These guys are new to our program. They got a car dealer. They're in Dallas. They're growing. They're ready to take over. Now, this is how I train people. This is how I trained my whole life. When we were in a sales meeting, it wasn't the manager's job. We just sat there as salesmen. I was like, all right, hit me with an objection. Let me understand how to handle this. Because if you want to go back to number 3, take the pressure out of it, you got to learn how to persuade and communicate where you can take the pressure out of the deal. So, Zach, let's say that I'm on the car lot and let's say that I'm like, hey, man, this is super simple. This is just an easy one. But I'm like, hey, man, I got 2 more to take a look at. Zach, what do you say?
What about those vehicles
are different from the one that you're seeing here?
They're relatively similar.
Okay. Is there a problem with the price, or is that something we can work on? Or
Nah, I just want to go take a look at the other ones.
at that point, I guess I would just let them. I don't want to let them go, but I don't want to pressure them.
Okay, good. I don't want you to pressure them, but here's the deal, guys. If you don't know what to say, does that invite pressure into the deal? Yes or no? Does that invite skepticism into the deal? Does that invite uncertainty into the deal? Yes or no, guys? Raise your hand if you think yes. Okay. Sean, if you were buying a car and I said, hey, Zach, hey, doesn't matter, man. Hey, I'm just happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're giving us the opportunity. Thank you, man. Like, I'm just grateful to have you here today with me, man. Hey, Zach, can I ask you a couple questions and then you can get on the road? No big deal.
Yeah.
Zach, are the cars you're going to go look at, are they similar or completely different?
Similar.
Perfect, man. Okay, Zach, can I ask you, let's just say you went and looked at them, and I saw the way that you talked about this car when we were sitting down. You were talking about all the things that you wanted this car to have, like leather, like this, like that. It had those things. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah.
So I know you love the car. Is that right?
Yeah, I like it.
So in the buying process, it typically comes down to the deal that the dealer is willing to give you. And if that car is the same car, but it's like $2,000 or $3,000 more than you'd want to spend, you'd probably come back to the car that you fit your budget and fit everything that you were looking for. Is that right?
Yeah.
Zach, before you go, could I do something for you? Could I give you a quick 5-minute proposal, walk you through kind of where we stand on the car? And then as you're going along your shopping journey, then you can make the best intelligent decision for you. Could I do that for you?
I'm on a time schedule, so I mean,
No big deal, man. No big deal. 5 minutes, get you in and out of here. Won't take long. I know you've been here for an hour, so we'll get it done for you. It won't take long. Promise you, man. You can get out of here. Boom.
Sure, I can give you 5 minutes.
Come on with me. Guys, I've never really had anybody out on the lot ever tell me no to that. No to that, okay? I'm not saying they're all 100% going to close, but Mears, anybody on here, do we have to put them in a buying situation to make a sale? Yes or no? Okay, if I just let him leave, I'm just hoping that he comes back, right? But do I want to sit down with him and actually like go over some numbers? But also, do I want to lose rapport because I'm coming in hot? Do I want to lose rapport? Like, why are you going to go down there? Is it a better deal? You know what salespeople are doing right now? Entitlements at an all-time high. So they're like this. They're like, why? Why don't you want ours, man? They don't got this car. And they get combative. And I'm like, what? Who taught you this? We're not going to get combative. We're never going to lower our state, and we're not going to go in with pressure. We're going to say, hey, dude, it's no big deal. The fact that you're here, that's all that matters to us, man. Listen, what I like to do is this. Could I help you with this? And then I present a little bit of an option, and I say it with a good, warming, loving state. The pressure stays avoided. I don't have to get a manager. There's no confusion in the sale. The rapport doesn't snap, and somebody else doesn't have to come save me. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so I want you to think about that. Zach, you're new, so that's why I like to call the new people out right here, And as we do this, Zach, you're gonna start to have more confidence in what you're saying, right? Like yesterday, I gave you a couple tips, and I can already see that you're using them. And here's what I want you to know: the more that you do this, the more confident you feel, and the more confidence the customers feel in you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Some salespeople, what they'll do is they don't practice this. Guys, for I don't even know, not even to today, I don't really listen to any music in my car. I train. Like on my way to the gym, I'm training, I'm growing. I remember I was a broke kid in 2008 when I started in the car business. And I said, I took a loan out from a credit union to buy these CDs, to buy these Grant Cardone CDs, right? And these CDs were like $2,900. And I couldn't believe I bought a ticket first for $800 and one credit union gave me that. And then I went down to the seminar and I had to sleep outside. And I was just trying to figure it out, like many of us, right? I was just hungry to figure it out. And I went and bought, then I took a loan down there at a credit union because I'm like, damn, they're just giving money. This is crazy. I didn't even know you had to pay it back. Like I had no understanding of money. I had no clue what, but I'm like, I actually went on my credit and was on my credit for like 7 years because y'all know how that goes because I didn't even pay it. I just was like, oh, they gave me some money. This is tight. And I went and bought these CDs, man. Yeah, it was like GrowthCon 1, dude. It was literally, there was like 18 people there and a hurricane had happened the night before. And so like nobody showed up. And then there's me and my crazy ass little brother, just like ready to learn. And But it changed my life because I invested some of my money. If you're in a business right now and they're investing in you, it's great. I mean, I appreciate that. But my managers made fun of me for investing in myself. They really did. Even as I was selling 40, 50 cars, they were like, you're so dumb that you spend all this money on customers and this. And I'm like, I don't understand, man. Like, to me, it's just like the only way to do it, right? So I invested my own money. If you're in a store right now, I would say, dude, you have to invest your own money, not maybe just in sales training, but maybe in like your gym pass, what you eat, what you think about, maybe an Audible, maybe a book, like just to help you kind of advance in life. A couple of my favorite books, Relentless, Your Future Self, Linchpin. Those are good ones. Like those 3 books right there. If you read that one, those 3, it would change your life. Like I'm 100% sure. And you don't have to but because when you're experiencing growth, man, you're just in a good mood. When you're not experiencing growth, if you're an obsessed person, not obsessed people, they don't care. They can't wait for meetings to turn off. They'll go back to their cubicle. They'll be normal. But I'm talking to my obsessed people, my 1%ers. You have to be filling your mind with new things, or else you become your own worst enemy. And if that resonates with you, that could indicate that you're an obsessed 1%er. If it didn't, just no worries. Just let's keep going. All right. So number 5, I want you to walk in their shoes. Okay. I want you to walk in their shoes. And what that means is you got to analyze the buyer. You got to analyze like what they're really here to do, like what you're really here to do. You know, I was in a sales floor the other day, and I honestly couldn't believe it, man. The sales guy, this lady walks in and she's like fired up. She's just like, oh yeah, I'm excited to be back. Like he's missing all these little signs, right? And then he greets her. He's talking to her. She has great energy. I would have complimented her energy. I'd have been like, oh my God, you got amazing energy. I just love that you're here and excited. Like that's refreshing because most prospects aren't like that. And he ignores that. And then she goes, I got in a wreck 2 days ago and I'm here to kind of get the same car. His mind goes like this: lay down. Oh my God. Finally. Yes. Shortcut the process. How fast can I get her into the same car? What color does she want? Does she know the features? She probably does. And he's just like, and he's shortcutting the whole entire thing. And I'm just watching because the GM's like, hey, I just want you to sit back and like, don't jump in, don't rescue him. And I just want you to see what happens. I'm like, I've never done that. So I thought that was kind of cool. And what happened is at the end of the sale, she wanted to get a better price. She wanted to go to another dealer. She wanted to do all these things, but she's bought from them. Okay. And what this salesperson doesn't understand is there's like an unlived life. Like the decisions you made today is who you are today. It's the body you have, the mind you have, the things you have, the life you have. It's because of choices you made 60, 90, 122 years ago. You can't connect the dots looking back on you can connect the dots looking back on your life. Like, oh my God, that investment, that book. Like you can be like, oh, that sales training, like that changed me. Like, oh my God, I'm so grateful I did that. And then you can look back and be like, that relationship scarred me. That thing hurt. I did that. That was bad. Like you can look back and see those things. So you have to look forward and make decisions on the future you. That's why the book, The Future Self, is a really good book, because it tells you to operate like the 5-year version of yourself. But walking in that customer's shoes, what he could have done is he could have said, number 1, are you okay? Oh my God, where did this happen at? Show some emotion for the love of God. Where did that happen on? Are you okay? You were kidding me. Oh my, and then she's like, I'm fine. The airbags went off and everything. So it protected you. Is that not good for us to know in a car sale? It protected you? Oh my God. Does that not tell us a little bit about the prospect's old life, their old purchase? Does that not tell us a lot of that we need to know? She's here for that same current car. Now, I want you to think about this. As he's getting ready to advance her through the sales process, he could say, how many cars have you typically bought of this brand? How long have you done business with us? You know, like you can't just jump right into the sales process. You got to just be like, hey, you know, how many cars have you typically purchased? You know, oh my God, tell me a little bit about this. What neighborhood do you live in? Oh, you're in that neighborhood? Oh, that's crazy. Why'd you choose that neighborhood? I'm down the street from there. We see a lot of people from there. Have a conversation. Don't get so wrapped up in the sale. Listen, when rapport is at an all-time high, gross is at an all-time high of any sale. But some of you right now, you're getting on the phone with somebody and then they're saying something and you're just responding, trying to respond intelligently. And you're not even thinking creatively. Okay. See, amateur salesperson, they feel like they need every sale. I'll tell you, this is kind of a little hack. Pro salespeople, they don't. They talk to prospects like there's so much familiarity, like they've known them forever. And they're honestly not thinking about a sell the whole time. I have a new guy. He was a top performer in any industry. And when you come to be brand new at something, you inevitably kind of struggle. It's like you're like trying to figure out how to fit in. And I was listening to him call, and I've taught him for 2 years. I know how good this guy is. He sold 40, 50 cars. And he just sounds lost, right? And so I'm like, here, just dial anybody in the CRM. Just dial anybody. He dials somebody. I pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Hey, happy Sunday, man. Hopefully you're having a happy Saturday, Friday, whatever the day was. Hey, hopefully you're having a great day, man. It's Ian down here at the Ellie Group. Just wanted to tell you, we appreciate you. Looks like you came into our new group. Just wanted to make sure that if you had any questions, we're here for you. We're here to support you. The guy's like, yeah, I had this one question. And then I start talking to him about his question. We're not even talking about what I called for. We're talking about him. We're talking about what he's going through. We're talking about the football game he's watching. That I'm telling him, dude, you should be watching that football game. You should be training. You should be doing it. And I'm messing with him, right? And he's like, dude, I just want to hang out with you. And I'm like, dude, we can hang out every day. Like, this is how we do it. And the guy's like, how did that happen? And I'm like, because I'm me, okay? I'm walking in their shoes. I'm creating value through questions. Step number 6, value through questions. I'm creating value through authenticity. I'm creating value through questions. I'm creating value through having fun. Guys, I don't like, if you're not charismatic, you have to command charisma out of you. Okay. I'm not that charismatic. Honestly, I'm a very introverted person. We took these personality tests on Saturday. We had this professional expert come in, and everybody in my company said I was going to be this one personality because they see me. They see this charismatic, driven person. And there's this like DISC assessment, and I was a D. And I was a high parrot, whatever that is. And that means you're very communicative, right? So people are like guessing mine. And they're like, oh, he has to be an eagle. He has to be a high parrot. And when the test came out, it said that I am that in public because I have to be that. I'm very good at turning that on. I'm very good. My grandfather was a teacher. He was a theater teacher. He opened a school. He changed millions of lives. He never did it for money. He always wanted to serve people. So my grandfather has this high dove, which is kind of like a supportive, I love you, I want to help everybody win type of person. Kind of like Zach. I got to know him yesterday. I could identify who he is in 3 seconds. If you've never learned the DISC assessment, I'm teaching it in like 2 weeks. You should come on here. And it tells you how to identify personalities and who they are. Okay. Zach, the other day, I identified that he didn't like to put pressure on customers. He really likes to see people win, and he's a supportive, loving, natural person. Now, I told Zach, I said, Zach, people can't tell that on your face because you like, when you look like you're thinking, you look like you're very intense because you have this high owl in you that's it's very like you're watching things, you're processing things, and you're trying to figure them out. So you don't, that's me in private. So me in private, I'm very reserved. I'm very intentional. I'm very logical. I write a lot of things down. I study a lot, and I don't talk a lot outside of work. I don't hang out with anybody outside of work. I don't even have friends, really. Like I got like the people I work with, and they're my friends. But I'm like I'm not actively going to look and be in a party situation. Okay. And no personality is better than one, but people don't understand that in sales, you have to command charisma. Even if you're introverted, this guy goes, you guys are all going to be shocked about Ian's because they don't believe that I'm introverted. But if they know me like my wife knows me, she knows that like if the bill is wrong at a table or they give me the wrong food, I'll just eat the wrong food. I won't complain. I don't want any combativeness outside of my workplace. Inside of workplace, I'm like, here, this is my jam. This is what I do. I know how to do it. So I know how to be extroverted. I know how to lead. But in private, I'm like, oh, just here, I'm good with the pancakes. She's like, you ordered eggs. Call them over here. I'm like, oh, no, that's like my worst fear. I'm like, no, don't do that. I'm like, don't do that. Don't, oh, babe, come on. Don't embarrass me. Please. You know, and would you think that that's me? No, but you have to learn how to communicate with personality types. That's why, Zach, I could identify who you are, and I can create value through questions like that. I could say, Zach, oh, you're a father. Oh, cool, man. On the sale, like on you purchasing a car, what's going to be the most important things to you? You start talking about safety. I don't start talking about tire sizes or how cool the truck looks unless you lead me to that, unless my questions lead you to that. I'm like, oh, man, listen, you got the car seat in your other car? He's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, let's go grab it real quick. And then I put the car seat in the other car. Watch that. How many of you are missing that one thing right now in car sales or anything? Listen, you could trial run in the product. You could go grab the car seat. And if you're not car sales, think about this in any other industry. 99.9% of car salesmen wouldn't do what I just did. Oh, safety matters to you? Oh, man, you got the car seat with you? Hey, let's try to put the car seat and the stroller and everything in the car. You cool with that? You cool with that? He's like, yeah, man, like that'd be amazing. I'm like, perfect, let's go get it. I get to his stroller, and I'm talking about the stroller he has. I'm like, oh, man, that one's expensive, dude. He's like, yeah, my wife likes to buy all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, where'd you guys meet? How'd you guys meet? And I'm creating value through questions. Are you guys all tracking me right now? I'm creating value through questions that matter to them. A lot of salespeople are asking questions that don't matter. You know, Renee, here's what they're doing. They're like, yeah, man. So that car does, it's got 28 miles a gallon. I don't give a shit about miles a gallon, bro. Like, I've never looked at, if you care about miles a gallon, you ain't making enough money. Okay. I know I'm making some money, so I'm not really worried about I'm not going to the gas station being like, my wife likes to go to Costco because my wife don't understand money. She ain't never, I just fill her purse up with money. I throw my clothes on the ground. They get hung up every day. It's like I got a magical floor. She's got a magical purse. It works, right? You know what I mean? But she's like, she doesn't understand. So she's very her personality is to be in control of all these little logical things. So she goes all the way down to Costco, gets gas. She's decided that that's a better deal. I just go to the shittiest gas station. I'm like, right here, right there. Doesn't matter. You guys get my drift? Okay. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you a couple of things. If you're talking about gas mileage, if you're talking about things that don't matter to me, I'm going to lose interest. Okay. You know, for me, you're going to talk a little bit about safety. You're going to talk a lot about how cool it looks. How's that feel, man? Hey, roll the windows down. They'd honk at some people. Like, yo, see what they think. Hey, where are you going to take this with your buddies? Hey, man, you know, where do you go? You go to church on Sundays? Oh, imagine pulling up on this thing in church, man. Imagine pull up to your son's baseball game and this, and all the other dads see you, dude. You're going to be the coolest dad ever. Come on, bro. High five, dude. Let's go. You know? I'm like, bro, that wasn't a good enough high five. Let's go. He's like, yeah, dude. Oh, shit. You can imagine baseball. He's like, damn, man. Like, imagine if you're a business owner and I'm calling you about sales training. I'm not being like, hey, you know, let me tell you all about my sales training product. I'm like, hey, Kellen, what matters to you the most? And he'd be like, dude, because there's a lot of things that can matter to leaders. Some of them don't buy sales training so that their people can sell more cars. They want it so they can teach their team life coaching and how to be better people because they hate hanging around negative Nancy's. So if I'm like, what matters to you? He's like, man, I love my people. I just feel like there's another level. When they're not growing, I see this stagnant. It makes me feel bad. I go home, it transfers into my life, and I listen to him. I'm like, dude, so what would it be like if I talked to your sales team, you got on some calls, you kept them accountable, we started working through this together, you sent them to some, and I can tailor it to him, okay? Some of you guys are not tailoring anything to anybody. You're just shooting a gun, okay? So I want you to write that down. Tailor it to them. Tailor it to a personal experience. And how you do that is questions. The person that's asking the most questions wins, okay? All right. This is a cool one. Embrace no. No is not a bad thing. Remember, I said it before. If you're going to call 200 people today, which if you're in most sales industries, that's a low number. But if you're going to call prospects today and they're going to say no and you're going to get upset, you're not a salesperson. Okay? You have to rethink the way that this thing works. A lot of people are going to say no. It gives you a chance to disqualify the people that are going to say no. Now, here's what I'm going to say. There's a caveat on this. You got to be able to be the person that persuades them to say yes, okay? But if they're not going to say yes and it doesn't work for them, I'm not going to get all spun out about it. I'm not going to think about it 1,000 times, and I'm just going to move on, okay? If you can see 4 or 5 people in a day, okay, then typically, then you might need to know how to market. But if they say no, it's no big deal. We're looking for the people that are looking for us, okay? Top performing salespeople, they're going to stay in front of qualified prospects. They are. They can disqualify you pretty quick. Now, I'm not saying be the guy that's just like running through deals and trying to find the right people, but top performing salespeople have the ability to bring this kind of swagger, this kind of confidence, and this kind of charisma into a sale. And they have the ability to understand where the person is at in their buying journey. And they have ability to place them where they need. They might have to follow up with them for 3 months. They might have to place them in this section. They might have to place them in this section. They might have to hard close them a little bit. Like they might have to say, hey, dude, here's the deal. Okay. But also if they get a no, it doesn't ruin their day. They just keep going. It's part of the game. Okay. You think Kobe Bryant, when he missed a three-pointer, you think he quit? No, dude. No. That's part of the game. Okay? Actually, in fact, Kobe Bryant, when he was like 9 years old, it was his first season in basketball, he didn't make one shot. He didn't make one shot. And his dad is a professional basketball player in Italy. And his dad told him, you didn't practice. Okay? So if you're missing shots right now and you're mad because they're saying no, it's a you thing. You know, some of us are pointing out here. We need to take the thumbs and point back here. Okay. And it's all done right here. It's all done right through here. Okay. So listen, if they say no, I don't want you to get upset. I don't want you to get mad. I don't want you to get confused. I want you to just understand it's part of the game. And then I want you to revisit a little bit about how you talked to them, how you made them feel. And I want you to think about in this framework, did my customer feel what Ian is talking about today? Because if they did, they're likely going to say yes. Okay. So let's go to number 8. Say what you feel. Sometimes a lot of you guys, you don't step up and say anything. Like they might be on the wrong product and you're too scared. You're too passive. You're too high dove. You're like literally like, you know it's wrong for them, but instead of moving them to the right thing, you're like, let's keep going. And then you're like, you don't tell them. Like, your customer might be on something that doesn't tow the right amount, and you're going to continue to let them buy it, and then there's going to be a problem. Your customer might be on a product that doesn't necessarily suit them, but you're not stepping up and saying it. Your customer might be wrong, and you don't tell them. Okay? Me and Renee got on a Zoom. He's a dealer owner, and he started off with, oh, man, it's slow. I said, it's not slow, Renee. I didn't even know him, but I'm not going to let him tell me some shit. I was like, Renee, all due respect, not slow. You're slow. The business is slow because you've made it slow. And it's the truth. So we got to start marketing. We got to start branding. And Renee's like, oh, shit. Like, and I started losing my mind because I started telling him, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to let him tell me that. I'm not saying it in a disrespectful manner, but I'm like, listen, Renee, it's not slow. We got to get marketing. We got to change our mindset. If we change our mindset, there's a lot of cars in your market. There's 5,000 cars being sold today. Surely we can get a piece. Surely that there's buyers out there. So we got to just think a little bit differently. But by the way, he probably, at that time, he probably attached a little bit of respect to that because I'm not just on it to sell him. I'm on it to tell him the truth. I'm on it to really serve him. And if I'm really serving him, you can build rapport in those. You can build rapport in telling the truth. It actually builds the most rapport because they're like, oh, thanks, man. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't understand that. I didn't think about that. And you're like, yeah, it's no big deal. So you can build rapport through no. You know, you got to think of some things that, you know, like if I lose interest when I say something, and by the way, these prospects, they are very well informed about your product too. A lot of your products, because they spend a lot of time looking at them. And sometimes they just try you on and then you agree or you lie and they're instantly turned off. So my goal is never lie. You know, I was a salesperson that lied early in my career and I just didn't like it, man. I found that like my customers, the more honest I was, like, even if I didn't make the sale, I still liked me more. You know, I still like me. They would end up liking me. And honestly, they would end up doing business a lot of the time. So keep that integrity in the deal. Number 9, get deep into their challenges. Stop just scratching the surface. You got to go deeper, man. Like here's the water line of an iceberg. Okay. Right here. You got to go under. The iceberg is down here. You guys get the illustration that I'm trying to make? Okay. The icebergs, typically the mountains, like right here, like right that, like that. That's the iceberg on the tip. And people are focused on the top of the iceberg. They need to focus on the bottom. They need to focus on going deep into that iceberg and understanding these people. So I want you to think about like, how do you are you just scratching the surface of a client? All right. I use this mentality. It's called the doctor mentality. When you come in, I'm like the doctor. I'm like, hey, how does your arm hurt? How does this move? I'm like, hey, what makes you come in today for this? You know, and I'm asking a lot of questions. Do doctors ask a lot of questions? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. Are doctors in control? Yes or no? But do doctors got to come off high pressure? Yes. Are doctors salespeople? Yes or no? Yeah. Yeah. They're upselling your asses. Some of you guys don't even know that, you know, but they're upselling you. Okay. But a doctor's asking them these questions and the doctor's putting them in these right positions. So then when a doctor goes and says, hey, I want you to do this treatment plan, it's going to be XYZ amount of money. 90% of the time you're like, oh yeah, that's cool, man. I'll do it. I trust you. I understand you. I get what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. So when I'm in a sales procedure, that's what I call it, a sales procedure. I'm the doctor, man. I'm like, hey, raise your hand up, move it over here. Does that hurt? What do we need to do? What do you think about that? How does that work with your family? And I'm going down these questions and I'm asking these questions that got teeth. They literally like bite them a little bit. And they're like, oh, yeah, boom, boom, boom. And if you do what I'm saying on the Zoom, then when you go to make the ask, they graduate. They say yes pretty easy. Okay. You guys tracking me? Number 10, and we're almost done, but I want you guys to think about these last three are very important. Tie challenges to value. Show the prospect tangible value of solving their challenges. Quantify how solving the problem will benefit a prospect in their financial gain or efficiency. Listen, man, you're going to the mountains in that frontier, okay? I know when it's going up I-70, that thing is struggling. You told me up in the beginning, you wanted to get this new camper and you're saying it solves this. We're going into camping season. Listen, how much value is that going to create for your family when you're going up that hill, when you're getting to these new camping spots? Guys, I'm going to tell you, life is all about memories, the memories you make with your significant others. At the end of the day, you don't get it, money or anything doesn't really matter, but you having great experiences, freedom with your loved ones, that's what you're trying to achieve by purchasing this car. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So the value there far over exceeds anything because you getting in that car, your kids jumping out of that camper and knowing dad made a decision for them. That's a big decision. And I'm grateful that you're making it. Am I tying value to being like, hey, you need the bigger truck? Hey, you need the bigger truck because you can get your family to the mountains. I'm like, bro, what's your daughter's name is Sarah. Your daughter's name is Ashley. Imagine Sarah and Ashley sitting in that new camper, going up I-70, parking at that place. Imagine that. Man, imagine how that would feel. Okay? Attach it to feelings. Attach it to value. I was talking to a general manager the other day. I'm like, dude, your financials are horrible. They don't have to be this way. Imagine, I know that when you go home, it's probably affecting your home life. It's probably, and he's like, you're right, man. I go home, I argue with my wife because my teammate, and I'm like, listen, man, imagine if we sat down and we started working on an accountability plan. Imagine if you actually started working on you. The speed of the leader is the speed of the ship. Okay. So we got to work on you first, man. So like, imagine if we get you to peak performance and then your team gets it, because it doesn't really happen either way. My leaders in the room, you want to be a better sales manager, you got to be better. Like you can't, it's not the sales team's job. It's your job. Like if you're the best possible your team, I assure you, works harder, thinks different, and grows different. So I'm challenging my leaders out there, man, and my prospective future leaders. What type of leader do you want to follow? Do you want to follow a leader that's working on himself, that's working on his family, that's experiencing progress? Progress is the number one thing in life that we're all searching for. And when you have it, people can tell. They can see it in your eyes. They can feel it in your voice. And they can see it in your heart. It's a very external thing that you're seeing. It's like wearing a really good brand and you're like, oh, you just got this new shirt. You're like, oh, I'm going out tonight with mom. It's like that, but even more powerful. When you walk into a room, people can feel your progress. They can feel it. So today you should be experiencing progress because you're like, oh, you're getting creative. You're learning new things. So you should be like, oh, yeah. And if you're not, I don't know, man, Number 11, make it a two-way dialogue. Make it a two-way dialogue. Guys, the best salespeople, they're not talking the most. They're actually talking the least. They're listening. Their face looks like they're listening. Here's the coolest thing. Some of you listen really well, but your face doesn't look like you're listening well. So your face has to look like you're totally interested, like, oh, yeah. See, me, I process things like in my personality traits. Since I process, my face is like I'm very interested, but it looks like I'm like skeptical of what they're saying. So I tend to go like, you know what I mean? So I have to tell my face, listen happily. So literally when I'm in a deal with somebody, I'm like, oh, remember the face. It's awareness, right? You might have people in your store, leaders, that's how they process information. And you might see that on them. And you might say when they come to the desk or something, you might say, hey, bro, you got the face. Hey, remember when you're listening, you got to smile. My brother and Andy, they have to tell me every day, all day. They're like, hey, and I'm like, they go like that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like even when my teammates are talking to me, I'm like, what's this guy saying? What's this guy saying? But that doesn't make them feel like I'm with them on the mission. It doesn't make it feel like it's a two-way dialogue. But remember, my personality trait is very analytical of what people are saying. So you can see that. You can feel it. Half of knowing your personality traits is knowing how to communicate to other personality traits, but also knowing how to be aware of your own so you can communicate more effectively. You guys tracking me? Okay. Number 12, budget comes later, man. Some of you guys are like, hey, nice to meet you. Hey, how much you trying to pay today? Hey, what's your budget? That's not how it works, man. Connection comes before budget. You got to build some connection. You got to build some love. You got to do everything that we just talked about today, which is get them to understand you. And most importantly, you understand them. And when you understand them and the connection is at an all-time high, then you can start discussing budget. Not before. Not before. If I really get to know you and I'm having fun with you, and I'm like, oh, hey, man, listen, we're getting a little carried away. Hey, let me ask you a couple questions about your budget. Which type of budget are you trying to fit it in? Do you guys typically allocate money to this? How much money do you allocate to your cars every month? Mr. Business Owner, how much do you allocate quarterly to your training expenses? They'll tell you. And likely, if you have good connection, they'll tell you the truth. Yeah. Yeah. They'll only lie to you if they don't believe in you. Okay. So your job is to make them believe in you. And you do that through this framework. 13 and last one. You got to use feedback loops. Simple questions throughout the sales process to re-engage the prospect. Little simple ones to check in to see if they're with me. I'm like, hey, are you guys with me? Hey, you guys got me? Hey, hey, you guys said this. Is that still a concern? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm getting feedback from them. If you can get feedback from them, you can continue to keep momentum in the conversation. You can continue to keep the conversation flourishing. Our main job is to take conversation and make it interesting and make it fun. And salespeople that can do that and they can feed the conversation momentum and can add some feedback loops in there, man, they're having fun. They make things look easy. They make things look exciting. And guys, I'm telling you, if you're like, wow, that's a lot of shit, it is. But like, you're going to do sales forever, right? And so what would be more important than studying a Zoom like this 3 or 4 times and really understanding and diving a little bit deeper and really being a professional? Remember, we started this Zoom with be a pro, make a decision. Everybody can tell who a pro is. I assure you. You can tell by the way they walk into a room. You can tell about the confidence that they exhibit. You can tell the way they answer questions. You can tell by the way they lead a conversation. You can tell if they really believe in themselves. You can tell all of it. It's very, very visible. So if you're looking to 5x your money, stop thinking small. If you're selling 5 cars right now or 10 cars, go to selling 40, dude. Stop shooting. So you're like, that's not my store size. Listen, man, I've taught in every store. I was in a store that was selling 80 cars a month. Okay. The average salesman in America sells 8.4 cars. Okay. And my second month, I sold 26. My third month, I sold 40. And then I never looked back from there. And the store was like, oh my God, like we got to buy more cars. This guy's crazy. Like he's moving. Listen, dude, I just wanted to be the best. I don't want to be a second-rated version of myself. I hope you don't either. I hope on this meeting today, you're making a bigger, better commitment to you, not to me. I don't get paid anything different, whether you do it or you don't do it. But my hope is that I will see some people that are breaking through barriers. We got people that are crushing it. You guys saw my YouTube video the other day with the guy that sold 64 cars. You can go to the Macklin Twins YouTube and you can hear from him. He had all the creditors calling him. They were all calling him. He was getting in trouble for it. They were trying to take him to court and all this stuff. And he followed this framework. He followed the branding and marketing that I did. Last thing that I'm going to say, and if you're in a company, you can do this on your own. But everybody's been asking me to join this advertising thing that we're doing. It's outside of our platform. It's with another company. The guy that runs my ads, his name is Nate Tilley. He runs ads for all industries. Join and drop the link. Everybody's been asking me to join it. There's a cost of it. It's like $89 or something. But we're going to teach you how to build Facebook ads. I had one Facebook ad. I spent money on hundreds of Facebook ads. And it's kind of how advertising works. You have to kind of test things. And then when you find the right thing, it's like the one that changes everything. Marketing is sales. The person that can market the best, they win. Okay. So he's going to show in this Zoom training that he's doing, and it's $80. If you want to register, you can put your name down here. The training, it won't give you access right away because it's on Friday, but we weren't offering it to the public. It was just with inside of our network. But if you want to do it, you can sign up for it. But here's the value. He's going to go through an ad that literally, it was the only ad that I had to run. And I had to hire somebody literally to just sit there and answer the leads because that ad was insane. It was crushing it. It was going crazy. It was insane. And it changed my life. I was not a salesperson that worked in the store that acted like I worked in the store. I was the salesperson that was acting like it was my business. That I'm like, hey, if they advertise, I'm going to advertise. I went to my general manager. I'm like, hey, I got this ad. You mind if I do it? I'm paying my own money for it. And he's like, yeah, why not? And I'm like, boom, let's go. Turn the ad on. And I started getting leads. And I'm like, dude, if I could just get 10 leads, if I could get 10 people to walk through the door a day, surely I can sell 3. 3 a day is 70 cars. Not that hard. I hired somebody to stand there and do the deliveries eventually. And I mean, it just, you can, whatever you want to create, you can create. But if you're a business owner and you want to get in that training, again, it's $80. I don't care if you get on it or not. The value of it is you have to learn how to market, but I never on Twin Tuesday ever offer anything. I never do this ever. But so many people have been asking me, how do I get on that class? And I was like, well, I don't want to tell them to do it. I don't want it to feel like a pitch. It's not a pitch. If you want to join it, you can. It's with an outside company. It's not with me. I'm going to be on there for 15 minutes talking about my ad that I did and some branding and marketing tips. And then the other 45 minutes is Nate Tilley. He does all of my marketing at the Elliott Group. So he's going to take you the next 45 minutes of how to run ads. The goal is you could probably fire your marketing agency after you learn this because you could run them yourself. Seriously, it's that good. And if you're a salesperson and you want to stand out in the market, you're going to naturally have to reach more people. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. So if you want to join it, fill out that form. It's right there and you can join it. If you want to grab the link real quick, you can grab the link. I think Nate said we can only take like 12 people or something like that. So I won't respond to you. Last thing, I won't respond to you right away. It'll take me through the day and then we'll say, hey, here's where the class is. Here's how you can, sign up for it. Next Twin Tuesday, I'm going to be going over some social media audits. I'm going to be auditing some social media. I'm going to be showing you how to get more leads, which also has to do with the advertising, but I'm going to show you some organic ways to create money, some organic ways to go to the next level. So today I want you to focus on one thing. What did you learn that you can implement today? Write it down or highlight it real quick and just say, hey, here's how cool learning is. You learn something, you have one new behavior. You learn something and you're like, I don't need to master all of that. But if you could learn one or two things and just implement them into your game and truly just get 1% better every day, you'll look up, a year from now and you'll be like, I don't know how I did this. I don't know. And I swear it's the truth. You need 6 good months in your life, 6 good months to change your entire life. 6 good months. So, Nate's probably paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for his knowledge. He just commented right here. I know I paid thousands and thousands of dollars. So $80, it's nothing. Get on there, learn it. Other than that, there is in our training system, there's a lot of branding and marketing. Salespeople, I would urge you to go through and study that. And play a big game, man. Have a lot of fun. Give the customers a lot of love today. Hopefully you got some value. Raise your hand if you got some value. All right, everybody stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. All right, give your neighbor a hug. If you have no neighbor, hug yourself. If you have no neighbor, hug yourself. Turn around and hug yourself. Be like, oh, other personality, I love you, man. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Get your brains going. Turn to your neighbor and rub his head. Go like that. If you don't have a neighbor, just rub the fake head. You know what I'm saying? Just go like that. Okay, guys, I want you to feel this. Feel this progress. Go like this. Feel this progress. Feel this progress. Feel that energy. Feel that energy. Go have some fun today, man. Go bring it. Go bring it. It's all perspective. It's all attitude. Tell yourself that. It's perspective. It's attitude, man. It's just, that's all it is, man. That's all it is. Perspective and attitude. Have some fun today. Peace out.